Roman soldiers did not conquer the ancient world with courage alone. They conquered it with a system of weapons designed for one purpose: killing efficiently in formation. Every Roman legionary carried equipment that had been carefully developed over centuries of warfare. Each piece of armor and every weapon served a precise role on the battlefield. The Roman army was not simply a group of warriors fighting individually. It was a coordinated machine, and the weapons of the legionary were built to function inside that machine. At the center of this system stood the Roman legionary himself, a heavily armed infantry soldier trained to fight shoulder to shoulder with his comrades, protected by a large shield and equipped with weapons designed for brutal close combat. Unlike many ancient warriors who relied on individual fighting styles, Roman legionaries fought using standardized equipment issued by the army. This standardization allowed thousands of soldiers to fight as one disciplined formation. When a Roman legion advanced toward the enemy, every soldier carried the same basic weapons and protection. This created predictability and order inside the chaos of battle. Roman commanders understood that discipline and equipment together could break armies that were larger but less organized. Before the armies even collided in close combat, Roman soldiers prepared to weaken their enemies with one of the most famous weapons of the ancient world, the Pylum. And once the lines finally crashed together, another weapon became the true instrument of Roman battlefield dominance. The Pylum was the primary throwing weapon of the Roman legionary. Before the main clash of battle, Roman soldiers would throw these heavy javelins at the approaching enemy formation. A typical Pylum was around 2 meters long and consisted of a wooden shaft attached to a long iron shank ending in a sharp point. When thrown with force, the Pylum could penetrate shields and sometimes even armor. But the weapon had another clever design feature. The thin iron shank was intentionally made to bend after impact. If the Pylum stuck into an enemy's shield, the bent metal made it extremely difficult to remove. The heavy shaft would hang from the shield, making it awkward and nearly impossible to use in battle. Many enemy warriors were forced to discard their shields entirely. In just a few seconds, Roman soldiers could disrupt enemy formations and weaken their defenses before the melee even began. After throwing their pila, the legionaries advanced behind their large shields. These shields were known as scuta. The scutum was a large rectangular shield, slightly curved to wrap around the soldier's body and provide maximum protection. It measured over 1 meter in height and was constructed from layers of wood glued together and covered with leather. At the center of the shield was a metal boss called the umbo. This metal boss could deflect incoming blows, but it also allowed soldiers to strike enemies directly during combat. Behind these shields, Roman soldiers closed the distance with the enemy and prepared to use the weapon that defined their deadly fighting style. The most famous weapon of the Roman legionary was the Gladius. Unlike the long swords used by many ancient warriors, the Gladius was short, compact, and designed primarily for stabbing. The blade was usually between 50 and 60 centimeters long, making it ideal for close combat within tight infantry formations. Roman soldiers were specifically trained to thrust with the sword rather than slash. A stabbing motion delivered from behind the protection of the shield was fast, deadly, and required far less movement than a wide swinging strike. This technique allowed legionaries to remain protected while still delivering lethal attacks. During battle, Roman soldiers fought in dense formations where shields overlapped and soldiers supported one another. Within this environment, the Gladius proved extremely effective. The legionary could strike quickly from behind his shield, aiming for vulnerable areas such as the abdomen, neck, or legs of the enemy. Roman military training emphasized precision and discipline. Soldiers practiced stabbing techniques repeatedly against wooden training posts known as pylus. These exercises taught legionaries how to deliver controlled and efficient thrusts, while maintaining formation with the soldiers beside them. At his belt, the soldier also carried another weapon, a dagger known as the Puio. Although smaller than the Gladius, the Puio served as a backup weapon and could be used in extremely close combat situations. The dagger was often elaborately decorated, sometimes featuring engraved metalwork and ornate sheaths. This decoration reflected the pride soldiers took in their equipment and status within the Roman army. Together, the Gladius and Puio ensured that the Roman legionary was never without a weapon, even in the most chaotic moments of battle. But weapons alone were not enough. Protection was equally important for survival on the battlefield. Roman legionaries were heavily protected compared to many of their enemies. One of the most recognizable pieces of Roman armor was the Lora Segmentata. This armor consisted of overlapping iron plates connected by leather straps and internal fastenings. The design protected the chest, shoulders, and upper body while still allowing the soldier to move freely during combat. Although Lora Segmentata is the most famous Roman armor today, it was not the only type used by legionaries. Another common form of protection was the Lora Hamata, a chainmail armor made from thousands of interlinked metal rings. This armor had been used by Roman soldiers since the Republic and remained popular throughout the empire. A third type of armor was the Lora Squamata, or scale armor, made from small metal plates attached to a fabric or leather backing. To protect the head, Roman soldiers wore iron helmets known as galli. These helmets included cheek guards that protected the face and a rear extension that shielded the neck from downward strikes. Many helmets also featured reinforced brow ridges that helped deflect blows from above. Centurions often wore helmets with a transverse crest made from horsehair so they could easily be recognized by their soldiers during battle. A fully equipped Roman legionary carried heavy protection and weapons, sometimes weighing more than 30 kilograms in total equipment. Altogether, the weapons and armor of the Roman legionary formed a carefully integrated combat system. Each element supported the others. The Pylum disrupted the enemy's defense. The Scutum protected the soldier and allowed formation fighting. The Gladius delivered lethal blows in close combat, and the armor ensured that the legionary could survive long enough to keep fighting. This combination helped make the Roman legion one of the most formidable fighting forces in the ancient world. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like and a comment. Subscribe for more true stories from history. Your support helps this channel grow,